In this section, we're going to take another look at a very commonly used command. So the command that we're going to look at is docker ps. This command will list all the different running containers that are currently on your machine. Let's try running it right now and just seeing what happens. I'll flip on over to my terminal and I'll run docker ps. When I run this command, you're going to see some headers for a table. At present, we have no containers running our machine, so we have no entries inside this table. At this point, we've only been running images or creating containers that run very quickly and then immediately close down. So for example, when we were running docker run busybox and echo hi there, that container starts up and then almost immediately exits us back to the command line. So if we want docker ps to be meaningful at all, we have to have some container that is running for some longer amount of time. In order to get a container running a little bit longer, we could substitute the command that is executed when that container starts up. So rather than running echo hi there, I'll try docker run busybox, and then I'll do ping google.com. This is a command that's going to attempt to ping Google servers and measure the amount of latency. It's a command that's going to continue running for quite a long time. So here it is running right here. As you can see, it takes about 2 or 3 milliseconds for me to ping Google and get a response back. This command is going to continue running, so we can now run docker ps in a second window, and we should see this container up here in the listing. I'm going to open up a second terminal window, and then I'll execute docker ps. And when I do so, I'll then see that running container. I'm going to get this on one line really quickly. There we go. So this is a printup for the container that is currently running that was issued the command of ping google.com. We also see the container's ID, which we can use for a lot of other operations that we'll look into later on. We'll see the image that was used for the container. We can see how long ago it was created. We get a status. Currently, it's been up for 24 seconds. We'll see a listing of any ports that have been opened for outside access, and we're going to talk a lot about ports later on in this course. And at the very end, we'll also see a randomly generated name to identify this container. In my case, the randomly generated name was Epic Corey. If I now flip back over to that running ping process, I can press Control-C on my keyboard to stop it. So I'll press Control-C right now, and I get back to my command line. As you might expect, if I then run docker ps a second time, I would not see that container anymore. So docker ps specifically shows running containers. We can modify the docker ps command just a little bit to show all containers that have ever been created on our machine. To do so, we can execute docker ps -- all. Oh, just 2 dashes, there we go. When we execute that command, we'll see a listing of all the containers that we have ever created. And so I'm going to zoom out again here really quickly just so I can see this table. There we go. So for every one of these containers, these have all been containers that we have started up and then have either been shut down on our behalf or shut down naturally. So for each one of them, we'll see the container ID, image, command, when it was created, its current status, in this case they're all exited, any ports that have been opened up, again we'll talk about those later, and the randomly generated name for each one. So in practice, we're going to end up using the docker ps command quite a bit to see what containers are currently running on our machine. One of the most common uses of docker ps is not only to see what's running, but also to get the ID of a running container. Because like I said, we very frequently want to issue commands on a very specific container, and for that we need its ID. All right, so that's the docker ps command. Let's take a quick pause right here and continue in the next section.